the first altered chain. Just gonna put your face. It's just gonna be with young chain. I asked him to draw shopping bags. It looks like he's like doing one super big trip.
Hi, all, and welcome to another episode of the Win It In podcast, episode 30. I am your host, Eric. I am obviously joined by co-host Gabe, and then our special guest, Frank, or Frankly, my dear, or the chain guy that you've seen his face on so many different cards. How's it going?
Hello. Yeah, it's been good. I like to think I'm now the Vincent guy, but it's not going great. Like I just came back from an armory and I won two'd, I got stomped by just everything. But I'm very happy to be playing a Shadow Runeblade in CC again. So life's good. Life's good.
That's yeah, no, we're definitely gonna get to that here in a bit because Vincent is out, officially legal as of last Friday. So reps are being played at armories now, and definitely want your takes on that. There's a lot of firsts today. I'm not in the usual room. I am, visiting parents back home, so I'm in a car right now. That's the best quality we're gonna get.
Mobile edition.
Frank, you are, yeah, yes, we're making it work. You're our first international guest, so that's a first. And then, we got Gabe here, and Gabe is up early for us, so it's the first morning podcast.
Yeah, I'm so sorry with the international. I'm in Canberra, Australia, and yeah, it is always the fun mystery game of which time zone are we going to talk in, and I thought I was talking your time zone, and you thought you were talking mine. So thank you for waking up for me. I really appreciate
that's our bad. We could have, yeah. Well, we appreciate
All
it.
right. Well, some of the biggest things that happened, we've had our first battle hardened for this new set. Our first look into a glimpse into the new meta and what to kind of expect on it. An Icelander was able to take it down. So an old hero coming back to relevancy, it would seem. And then, of course, Lexi being strong. And so it was Icelander and Lexi in the finals. Icelander taking it. Lexi had no AB because of the Bullseye bracers being banned now. But a very diverse top 8 meta. 2 Briars, 1 Bravo, Uzuri, Dromai, Icelander, and Lexi. And then I think I'm missing one more maybe.
Levia?
But yeah. 7 different heroes.
There's a Levia.
Levia,
Yeah.
of course. That's the big one. The one that we actually have all been waiting for because we all want to see that list.
What a tease Briar is, though, right? Like the only hero to get
Like
two in the top 8, and just those final 2 points just dangling in front of us. But no points there.
I know, right?
I was really thinking he was gonna get there when they're in the semis with Yanji. I'm like, yep, that's it. I don't get to play it anymore. I'm bummed.
Yanji, Yanji was playing her very well piloted there. A bit unfortunate. If you don't know, there is a life total discrepancy going on. I guess it wasn't caught on stream and it wasn't caught on chat, or so nothing could have been done about it at the time. But I guess there was at one point where Yanji should have had Rhea, the Icelander, dead, but just a life total wasn't marked. But that was by both players, so both players missed it, and judges missed it. It was on stream, so even the casters missed it. So it wasn't picked up until afterwards when someone pointed it out. But that's just how it goes sometimes.
I love the mind meld of keeping Rosetta around, just for just for another.
Yeah, for the team.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
just like a giant conspiracy with the judges, the players, the spectators, the streamers, everyone's in on it. Yeah,
that's a tinfoil hat theory. I like that. Yeah, no, it's good. It's very interesting. So far, what we're looking at is a very diverse meta. we saw big numbers from Lexi, but only one got in. I think it was Lexi, Dromai, and Bravo had the biggest numbers, and in Viscerai as well, I think. So
Viscerai,
we're
yeah,
seeing,
so it was...
yeah.
Oh, sorry, it was
Yeah,
Lexi and then Viscerai coming second, which
hmm
was strange because,
Oh,
like, yeah, no
okay.
conversion, which was really interesting.
It
But
was.
yeah, I'm really interested that the Lexi list, because I'm just looking at it now. It doesn't really look like it took on that much ice. It was just like a straight up fuseless list, which, there's two
hmm
Arctic incarcerations, but like, yeah, I'm just not seeing much else. So that's really interesting in that I thought there was going to be a bigger ice package just because, like, you don't really need to like deal with fatigue anymore as much. So I thought that was the natural
True.
progression, but like, it looks like just go fast, go hard, and no AB, and then I guess you die.
Yeah,
Guess he
yeah. I mean,
died.
that's where Lexi's at right now. She is the aggro deck. If you are going to be playing against this meta, you got to play to beat Lexi because that's the new aggro here, the new bugaboo.
3 yellow Winter's Bites. So like a little bit more of a package than... Oh no, and 2 red Winter. I'm talking nonsense. There's so many Winter's Bites in this list. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but like, it's not like totally fused. Like,
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying because a lot of people did think she was going to be more of a like kind of almost a traditional build, but just with the new arrows. Possibly even bringing back Channel Lake Frigid with a Lexi style deck. I've heard that, so I don't think you're totally off there. But don't fix what's not broken. I guess if it's working, it's working. And well, yeah, we'll see. The first battle harden of a meta will get you some interesting results. I think by the time we get our third major event, which we'll be calling Birmingham, we do have another battle harden in Chicago this weekend. I think by then we will really know where the meta is, and perhaps we do see a different Lexi build by that time, or we see the same old. But more curious to see if we're going to get any other heroes in the top 8s for these next 2 weekends here.
I do think a big thing, especially with the results for this set or for Cincinnati, were just that like pretty much all of the decks were like quite proactive. You had one Azuri, but like, at the start of a new format, you just want to be, doing things, and like people are gonna try fun things, but like, every time there's a start of a new format, you just attack things and you win, and it goes great. And so,
It's true.
uh, I mean, all that being said, like, it is so interesting that Viscerai just converted. I'm obviously very biased. I love Runeblade, but yeah, I just really, I like. He seems like he's in a good spot. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, Runic Reckoning is an awesome card, and I was pretty high on Viscerai too. It just might be one of those things where, maybe next, like this Battle Hard in Chicago, we'll see him put up some numbers. But I don't know. What was your takes on it, Gabe? What'd you think of the Battle
The
Hard?
Viscerai or the Battle Hardened?
Yeah.
I thought about the same thing. I was actually just stoked on how diverse the meta was. Like, kind of we talked about. Just,
Mhm.
I mean, going to a new meta, any hero is possible, and that's what everyone thought. So they took their pet decks that they were most comfortable with, and they succeeded. Bravo, Levia, all the goods. Um, what was I? I mean, Lexi did well. I mean, we know she was like in this bubble. A lot of the bubble people that could have bubbled into the top 8 were playing Lexi. I know I saw that.
Okay.
So I guess that was to be seen. I was just stoked Briar did well because we all know that I'm wanting to take Briar to national. So seeing that it still has some legs underneath of it, and hopefully we can see where it goes from here is a good sign. As long as it doesn't LL before then, that's the worry. That's what I was sweating bullets for that weekend because I was thinking about that. I'm like, oh god, Eric's gonna be talking about this.
I have a really
Yeah.
controversial question for you.
Ooh, we love these.
Let's hear.
Do you think so? I'm of the opinion that Warmonger's Diplomacy is a card that can go into Briar. And I
We were
think
just talking about this.
that, I mean, you already played this rounds on me. A lot of decks did. And the meta has shifted so that this rounds on me is just not as good as you want it to be, and I think that Briar can play in such a way that you set up a turn to have diplomacy, and I think it's not crazy to do that because like the problem is traditionally is that like diplomacy is what shuts down rune blades, so
Hmm.
you played against it, but I think Briar can actually utilize it even as a zero
I would
Interesting.
agree.
blue block.
Well, yeah, it blocks for 4 if you're playing it right,
Yeah.
and then it can turn off Lexies a little more. I mean, and if you're playing Spellbound Creepers, you can kind of just instant speed that bad boy in if you have
Oh,
to.
it.
Instant
I
speeding it would be pretty cool.
yeah. I just think that it's like if you set up a turn where you like attack with some things and you put it at the end of your chain instead of Rosetta attack, and you're
Hmm.
just like you arsenal attack action, then you just say attack action, then you just block with your silly attack actions, attack with some go again guys, and then you're just like I've gotten a little bit more tempo. But yeah, Eric, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, he's the one to ask.
Yeah, I do think you're right. It is pretty controversial because that card is I would say pretty good against Briar. If you can play that against Briar, it's probably going to shut down Briar's game plan for at least for the next turn. Um, but yeah, there are times when you're playing Briar and it is just attacks, and you have this like 3 attack chain. And then you swing your sword for 2 because you just realized, like, oh yeah, I didn't actually play a non-attack this turn. So it's totally possible. You would definitely have to be aware of it, which I guess you would if you ran it in your deck. Um,
And
I'm
then
just
just
wondering,
nine times out
yeah,
of 10, it's just as a blue block 4 that you just
yeah,
like.
I think in its base, it's good. Like, I think for a card to be like, especially like a blue card, if it pitches 3, costs 0, and blocks 3, it's just a good card in general. Like the everything else is gravy. So like, yeah, if you just need it for pitch, if you just need it for block, that's fine. You don't have to force it out or anything like that. Um, I think I do like it like over this rounds on me. I think that card is like what you're saying. Like Fi isn't as prevalent as he once was, so you don't really need that anymore. It could be good against Katsu. I could see Katsu kind of coming up, against Kadachi builds, but Sift was another card that Briars were running. It's another option you could take out to replace. But I think the new Briar, the Anthem of Spring, the new Briar card has been
Yeah.
taking that slot. And I kind of think that's what's possibly been pushing Briar to do well at these events.
I'd believe
That's
it.
funny because I remember when we first talked about that card. What was it, a month or 2 ago when it was spoiled? You were not
Mhm.
hot to trot for it. We were arguing about that card.
I wasn't, and then I faced Alexi and I blocked an arrow, and I was like, oh, that was nice. 2 embodiments of Earths is nice. I forgot about that.
Right?
Oh, the
So
glory days.
yeah, well, they were days.
I want my originally non-attack action that blocks 2. I want to block 6. Let me have an immovable.
Yeah,
I deserve it. I've worked hard. Let me just
I've
live
hit
my
with a
life.
ball of lightning. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Ugh,
that deck
ugh,
was wild. I think Carapace is also just such a huge gain for Briar,
another
and I
one.
think that's gonna be. I mean, all the Rune Blades, honestly. Like today, even Vincent, like I was just playing Carapace because it just kind of
Hmm.
does what you need it to do in every matchup, and like you
Mhm.
know,
That's
you compare
interesting.
that
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
that was one that I was wondering. Like Vincent has access to Carrion Husk, which is like renowned to be like the best blocking chess piece. But the Carapace is pretty good. Like it blocks 2 and then 1 and ABs and kind of, allows you to have another sideboard slot open.
yeah, it's been a like I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit when we get into Vincent, but like I've been testing a lot of lists, and I'm not a good deck builder, so I've just been like jumping on people's lists and like taking what I like and kind of growing on that. But the problem that Vincent has a lot of the time is that like it can be hard to close out games if you're in that like you need a block and then you need to like come in for a 2 for 8 or whatever. And the blood debt will like literally kill you. You're not like Chain where you're like I'm gonna take 3 damage off this, but the game is gonna be over because my Riftbind is a 3,200. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
combo off. You're just like, oh no, this husk's gonna kill me. Even the Grimoire can like get you
Right.
know.
Yep.
So
Yep. Another thing.
it's a
Yeah.
it's a real cost.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. No, yeah, Vincent is one that cannot get rid of Blood Depth. But let's talk about a hero that can, because I know it would be doing a disservice if we didn't talk a little bit about Pat Eshley's Levia that made top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's the hero we all deserve. And like I saw him
I
play old of
yeah,
him and like had the fan braces tech and just like I don't know why, but
true.
anytime I see his name on there, I'm like, oh, good on him. Good on good
Yeah.
on old mate. I like Pat. I have never met him, but I'm like I like him. I respect it.
He's innovative. He's innovative. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he done quite well. I mean, we even saw Michael Hamilton on Levia or Levia. And so it is being definitely played. It's hard to think that we won't see another Levia in the top 8 again. Because there's something to her. It's attracting the big time players. So yeah, in Pat Ashley build, it was just kind of your blood rush Levi with the claws and just becoming that plasma fed Levi consumed or whatnot, or soul consumed. I don't know what the name is, but becoming plasma fed. That seems to be the game plan, and what's making her really get to that point where being from F tier to now being possibly even A tier. Honestly, I think you could probably say Levi is A tier at this point.
I'd back it. I think
Yeah, I'll hold it
honestly,
down.
it's she's a really interesting hero because like Pat Ashley's list looks like quite aggressive, but also I think that there's so many different ways to build her that like you can just really just build her to the meta. And this, especially for week 1, you want to be really proactive, but like she might even be stronger if you slow it down and like Blasphemous Levia Consumed is sick. You like really get some really powerful
Okay.
yeah, gameplay from that. But yeah, she's a menace and I'm excited by it.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna play it. It's not for me. But like
it's
I'm
not rune
excited to
bladey
have it in
enough.
the yeah. Where are my non-attack actions and attack actions and
Right.
gambling?
Yeah, true. She plays shadow puppetry. There's that. Yeah.
That's half
No,
her rune blade price.
it's half a rune play card. She's in a good spot. She did the best out of the new heroes. There was 4 Boltons. We didn't see any of them, and then 1 Vincent and 1 oh 2.
Two
Okay,
Vincent, one
1
one
Prism.
Prism. Which what a champion!
Yeah,
Just being the only new Prism guy. Like he's got his
It's
whole
his speed
prison
out.
mat and just
he
yeah
believed. Oh yeah. Oh, he was decked to the 9s. There's no
yeah.
way.
They just had the wings on
Uh,
them. Like they were so ready. But yeah, you gotta respect it
yeah,
doing week 1. I respect the Vincent players because like yeah, out of so many lists that I've looked at, it's just I'm like, how do I actually win with half of these?
let's
And
talk
it's
about it. Let's get into it. Let's get into Vincent, because you, I mean, if it's not obvious by now, you are true and true a Rune player.
I
Um
do love Runeblade.
and yeah, and so with Chain LLing and Briar soon too, you're kind of down to options of Viscera and Vincent. So as you've been mentioning, you've been really putting in some work with Vincent, and I'm kind of curious where are you at with Vincent? What's your approach that you feel works best, I should say?
Yeah, so originally I was like, I want to try to go really wide. I actually, so I don't consume a lot of Fab content, but someone that I do check in with a lot is Nathan Crawford, and he has a really like shout out to
Oh
him.
yeah.
He has a lot of really good like paradigms and heuristics for Runeblade, especially. but just about the game. But he was like talking about a little bit more of an aggressive build, and also there was the We Make Best guys who had like 9 demigons, and I was like, this is it. I'm going wide. I'm gonna have these like little guys and make all of these attacks, and like it just is so clunky. It's just like you just if you have to play a Modern Skies into a demigon that attacks for 2, you're just not doing cool, powerful
That's
things.
yeah.
And so where I found like the most success, and it's not been that much success. Like, let's be clear. I went 1-2 in my
Okay.
armory today. I lost to an Icelander and a Dromai. And a lot of that was personal mistakes because I think she is quite punishing. But there are just like she falls into the problem of she looks like a really consistent hero in that like you block a lot and then you come in you either like have a 2 card 8 because you pitch for the grasp and then come in with your 2 um rune gate, or you like kind of set up a Mauvrin turn and you have like a Broodblade incantation. You kind of like try and have a really big turn that can be quite a lot of damage. But the problem is that while you have that idea of consistency, I just found that a lot of hands you're just like, oh, I can't actually do a lot. Either I can't make a rune chant, or they're all attack action. You have the rune blade problem, but it's worse in Vincent than it is in any other rune blade hero, if that makes sense.
I could definitely
Um,
see that. Yeah.
Nebula Blade, Nebula Blade did a lot. It's like that was
Okay.
the one that I played predominantly. Um, and that like
So is
if you have
that
a
the
rune blood,
preferred weapon right now?
for me, yeah, I was trying Rosetta. And you kind of you're really forced to play Tunic with Rosetta. It felt like a lot of the time,
I can
and
see
that's
that.
fine. But as I was saying, Carapace has felt really strong, and you kind of just keep a blue for that. But like, there were quite a lot of turns that I blocked with a card, banished something that wasn't relevant because I had all non-attack actions, and then pitched a blue to play Runeblood Incantation, and then come in with Nebula Blade, and that felt pretty good. That like took the bad Runeblade hands and turned it into something that was a little bit more reasonable. And having a weapon that does come in for 4 feels like it helps mitigate some of that issue. But that being said, like she's a tough nut to crack. Like there's such a huge difference
Definitely.
between Runegate 2 and Runegate 3 that is just like there's just you just really have to work for it. And she uses creepers really well, which is that's to her credit. Um, but also you need to like you know you need to be able to come in with essentially more than 2 attacks to really make creepers worth it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of hard to do, I found. So that's the thing. I'm waiting for someone smarter than me to like crack it, and then I can do my little
Same.
innovation on it. But yeah, she's. I think the kind of more mid-rangey version has felt a little bit stronger to me. Um,
Okay.
because
Okay.
Lord knows that I've tried aggro and it just like crumbles to a lot. But she can't be fatigued. That's the other thing that I found that was
Yes.
really
Yes.
noticeable. And it's not in terms of like you run out of attacks or whatever. It's just you will run out of non-attacks, and then it makes rune chant generation really hard. And so like if you get stuff in your arsenal, then you're just like, okay, I need to either have a big creeper's turn or I guess I'm dead. Like it it's yeah, there's a lot for me to learn and there's a lot to figure out, but like yeah, my initial impressions are that like I need someone smarter than me to help. That
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
I feel
essentially
that.
it.
Feel that. Yeah.
Um,
She's a tough, like you said, tough nut to crack. She isn't as in she's not the intuitive Runeblade. She definitely plays differently. And I think that's kind of like what you found out. That's what I was finding out as well. Is that as far as her being aggro, she's just not quite the build or the hero for it. At least not yet. Maybe it gets cracked, but I'm curious because okay, so mid range, I definitely see that. I definitely see where that can be successful because I've had a bit of success with that as well. I'm curious what type of arms do you go Vexing Quill Hand or do you play the Grasp?
I've been playing the Grasp most of the time, specifically because it turns like I found that Quill Hand was quite good for like setting up like an Annihilation turn or like maybe Oblivion if I got really lucky. I've only gotten it off once, so it's like hard to do. But
Yeah, Nartup's a little hard.
you do it once and then you're like, oh, it's your like emergency escape button, but you only get that once. And I found that Grasp has been quite good, especially because I've been playing a little bit more mid-range, that it turns my Runegate 2s into a 2-card 8. Because you block with 2 cards, you banish the 2 cost Runegate, and then you pitch to make a Rune Chant and then come in for 8. And that's been quite a bit better because I do that 3 or 4 turns in a game because the games are often going a little bit longer. And so that's kind of where I've felt uh, I want to be at the moment. Just because when I try to like straight up race, you do just suffer from some of the rune delay problems and like the damage output you're putting can be quite good. And the big thing I think and the reason to play Vincent over Viz, which like, I'm not sold on that yet, but like the different diff oh my god, I'm having a moment.
Differentiation. Yeah.
Differentiation. Thank you. Um
Yeah.
the differentiation is that you have all of these on hit effects that aren't actually on hit. They're essentially on play because it's just almost never like
Kinda.
reasonable for your opponent to like pitch like not a full card to block like 1 to 4 damage and then also block this big fucking 6 attack. Can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah,
We
we do
swear
it more
here. So,
often than
Yeah,
not.
this big fucking attack. Uh, so it's like, you know, and some of them like Widespread Ruin doesn't actually feel like it's that impactful, but like Destruction
it's a
Annihilation and
2.
like
It's a Rune Gate 2.
yeah,
It's nice.
I mean that's why you like it. But like even Deadly Delight, there were a lot of times where like I was playing, I snuck through a damage, and then like I went up to 41, and my opponent like had to deal with the stuff, and it's just like, yeah, move over Yoji, I'm here for life gain,
Yeah.
like, and yeah, I do really like that, and it does make me think about like Dimensional Vortex a lot as well, but that card's still
Your spoiler card.
yeah, I know. That's why I've been thinking about it so much. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I gotta do something with it. I gotta play it somehow.
You gotta figure it out somehow. Yeah, that card is interesting. I've heard Mansant talk about it, playing with it in Levia as well. So I'm curious where that card goes. It's like Fringe. Like it's like one thing off from being like an autoplay.
Yeah,
But
truly.
like it's the ability it's just like such a good ability that you can't ignore it at the same time. So it's yeah,
That's
it's on
yeah,
the
that's
fringe.
that's why it's a hard. It is also a hard nut to crack. In that the first unconditional arsenal removal uh is like an incredibly powerful effect, but like no block, no pitch, like
Yeah.
no go again. It's just there's so many limitations, and it makes sense because like if it had go again, just 3, just slam it, just oh my god, and like take that, Lexi.
Oh
But
man,
like
yeah.
or if it blocked or if it pitched, it's like still just an auto slam, I think. So it's just I understand it, but I mean I do like it in Levia because you get to like you play a single one, a cheeky one, and then Shadow Blasphemous it, and you're just like now it gets to sit here. I'm not
Oops.
taking any damage, and like
Yeah.
yeah, ooh, a little bit of spice.
Yeah,
You know what card?
definitely.
like I've been playing on Talishar, so I'm obviously a little biased because people
Okay.
are trying new things. But
Of
one
course.
card I've been pretty impressed with is Hungering Demigod. It's like not
Oh yeah.
it's very niche for specifically the light
Hmm.
heroes, but like I've been, it blocks 3, it comes in for 6, you can play it and like you're spending resources on it, so that's kind of fun. That just means
Yeah.
that it's extra
Only cost
versatile and
2.
like yeah, it's an on-hit effect, but like I have that in my sideboard, and I think if I'm going to play Vincent, then I'm just slamming it because I don't even know how relevant light heroes are in this meta. Um, but like it's a popper. It just like fills a lot of roles that I don't hate.
Yeah, no, for sure. And
Totally.
that is that's the promo for this August coming up. So
Yeah.
be a great time to get some armories in to
Oh,
get some of
ooh,
the red ones. Yeah. And then
I
another
love that art.
promo,
It's so cool
we'll
looking.
we'll put this out here, is our head hammer is the cold foil for August as well.
Yeah.
Uh, which I'm
ooh.
happy and a little bummed about at the same time, because when we got our Hellhammer card, we got a cold foil one, and it had the promo sign on it. I was like, "Oh, do we have the only promo Hellhammer? This is sick!" And now it's like, "Nope." But that's okay. I'm glad
Yeah,
other people can get cold foils as well.
that card's quite cool. I think it's like pretty sweet. Do you think it has like actual? It's never going to be a main weapon, right?
I
But it
think
will
so.
be.
I was talking to a Leviah main, and um, they were just saying that one of the hard parts about any brute weapon is that you're competing with claws, and as long as Blood Rush Bellow is a card, it's very hard to like replace claws. And so it could be a brute weapon that, I mean, it would just have to do so much basically. So
It's sweet
unfortunately, I
Spectre
don't
tech.
think so. It is for that, yeah. Like being able to get rid of your blood depth instantly is great.
Yeah, well, it's just like
Yeah,
because it isn't the way that it works. Is it attacks a Spectre target that stops resolving and it doesn't get banished,
it would
and then
not
so
get
you like
banished if it attacks back. Yeah,
yeah, and so you just keep like popping stuff and then eventually come in for 6 and or 8.
Feels good.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Um, yep, yeah. It does have that. I will say that any weapon could do that. So like where it does pop, yeah. If you want to talk about the best Spectra popper, it's definitely Raiden because it costs 0 to pop a Spectra, and that's the cool part for Raiden. Yeah.
yeah. But then you're playing Bolton.
Yeah. Yeah. Then you're playing Bolton, which is pretty popular here in Dallas, I found out. So
We
maybe Hungry and Demigod will have a good target.
isn't that how we met? I think we met at Pro Tour
Yeah.
1, and
Yeah.
I was
Eric was the
playing
Bolton
Chain
guy.
in day 2, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was actually I think I had played like a Bolton the round before, and I had gotten fatigued because I wasn't expecting the fatigue. I was like, "Ah, he's gonna combo." So I hadn't
Right.
prepared for
Right.
fatigue. I was playing Chain, and then I played against you, and I was like, "He's gonna fatigue me." I learned the hard way, and
Yep.
we got to the last turns, and I had an Ursa out, and I like the relevant text was that like if it's a light hero or something, if it has something on soul, gets
Let's
go
go
again.
again.
And I just didn't. I forgot that text happened, so I kept shackling to do the thing, and then like I had you on the loop. But yeah, that was a good
Yep.
time. That was yeah, and then I still have your sticker. It's somewhere.
Oh hell yeah! Let's
Let's
go.
go.
It's it's
Oh.
like literally on my little bag.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Don't worry. I had that sticker for months
Represent.
before I figured out where I wanted to put it. I really liked it. It was a good sticker.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. That I was the insane guy that brought Bolton to Pro Tour 1. And a few of us did make it over. So, but yeah, 7 chains I faced day 1. That's the only hero I faced day 1. So,
Whoa, wow.
uh, yeah. But yeah, just a lot of fatiguing going on there. It was fun. Combo Bolton nowadays, I don't think it's quite there. But that's okay because Bolton got a lot of new pieces. So Uh, we'll see. I'm very curious if we're going to see that here. I think it's probably a solid B tier hero right now. We'll see if that hero gets up to performance level, making some top 8s or not. We'll find out.
Do you think Bolton
What you
plays
think?
Library?
I like Library and Bolton. That's the most fun I have with Bolton right now, is doing a Vestige of Soul build with Beaming Blade and Library. Is that the most competitive Bolton? No, probably not, but I don't know what a competitive Bolton deck looks like, so I don't know. We'll see. Again, just a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I mean, like, Beckoning Light's a really powerful card.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about that card and
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if there's a lot more on hits that like just truly make me like auto block. Except the problem is, I always have attack actions and I'm like, oh no, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that is the big thing. Yep.
Yeah. And
All right.
it's
Let's
everything on that chain. Sorry.
Yeah, it's everything. Yeah, it would be everything on chain. Yeah, no, that's all good. Yeah. Any last thoughts on Vincent there, Gabe, that you have any questions for? Or?
I haven't played Vincent. I've looked at it, and I'm like, nah, I'm playing Prism. So that's my thought. I'm one of them Prism
You're
stands.
the one Prism guy.
I'm that one Prism guy.
Wings and
Eating my
everything.
crayons.
You're there.
Yeah.
Full Prism sleeves and playmat. Also,
I
that
mean,
being said,
if you're,
Vincent.
yeah,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead.
Oh,
Well, I was just going to say Prism is. Yeah. Go ahead. I will concede.
Calm down, Eric. I can put a seatbelt on you.
I was just gonna say that there's not a lot more satisfying than getting like 2 or 3 value off of like unblockable
Oh
reaching.
yeah.
Just like, sorry, pop 3 ward and your spectral shield. Like, oh,
Bummer.
feels good.
Yeah. Definitely Vincent's best matchup, Prism, for sure. And maybe that's why there was only one, because all the other Prisms are scared of the other Vincents out there. Who knows?
Yeah, it was a 2-to-1 ratio.
All right. Yeah. I guess it was. Technically, it was. Okay, well, let's do a bit of transitioning here. Let's talk about why you got your spoiler card, the work that you put in for the spoiler card. Definitely the most unique way to do it. So, I'll let Gabe take over here.
So, how many days was it again? Because I was gonna look it up. I just totally forgot. How many days did you go?
90 days. So like it was really fun because I got my spoiler on like the 89th day or something, and it was on July 2nd. It would have been day 100, but if I was radio silent and kept doing it for the day, like the extra 11 days, I just knew that the community the pitchforks would come out. I think I was at the end. I was walking the line of just doing it enough that like they were gonna let me finish this, and then I think the rules have been changed, so now it is actually spam. But it was fun. It was a really good creative outlet, and I think that was really good.
Yeah.
And like my favorite thing about Fab is just the community and people getting really excited about the game and like all the interactions and the jokes, and it was a really good way to kind of like chat with people and do this fun little thing that I was doing. And it was a nice thing to have a routine for as well, because I got really good at badly photoshopping.
You did.
So, did you have any like Photoshop experience prior to this, or was this just delving into a whole new world?
I had played like very, very loosely played with like what is the one that comes with your computer? Like Paint?
Oh yeah, Paint or
I had done
GIMP or
Paint
something.
in high school for like 2 hours. And then I found a free Photoshop thing and I was like, that sounds great. And like for the first one that I did, I like moved I did it on chain, and I figured out how to
Mhm.
like, because I also had no idea what I was doing, so I was just clicking around and like I think I accidentally moved the actual image just a little bit off. So if you like see the first image, it's just there's a little bit of white space because I moved it. I couldn't move it back, and like I tried to move the heads, like copy and pasted them, but I couldn't change their size. And like I learned a lot since that point. Let me tell you. Um, but yeah, I've just like, I've done some streaming and I've done a podcast and stuff like that, and it's been really nice having a creative outlet. But I hadn't had that for a little while, and so I was thinking about doing something. And when I learned about Dust Till Dawn, I was like,
Mhm.
I changed my favorite. That's why I got into the game, and like it's so fun, and
Yes,
like
sir.
mechanically and flavorfully, he's just like the most interesting hero, I think. So I was super excited that there was going to be another chain, which we found out there's not. Uh, but I wanted to be a part of that history, I guess. And so I kind of impulsively was like, "Hey, this is an idea I've been playing around with because I thought it'd be really funny." Um,
Mhm.
and then I just kept doing it, and then yeah, it like it was really enjoyable. And like that's the other thing is I played other card games in the past, and usually what gets me into them is the world building, and then it turns into like the mechanic aspect and like solving the puzzles and figuring that out. So it's like I look at the art less the more I play, but like this was a really good chance in that like the art, especially for Runeblade, is just fantastic, and like it's all these
Yeah,
weird shades
wild
of
stuff.
purple. And yeah, like Vexing Malice is so cool. And like yeah, I just really
Yeah,
like
it is.
I like all of that, and I really that's kind of what drew me to it initially, especially Urser and like that weird skeletal like demon body. and
Mhm.
and so yeah, I think just like I don't know. I know a lot of people that like don't really look at the art of cards, and so I've gotten a lot of comments being like, "Hey, I now actually look at the art of cards because I'm trying to figure out
Nice.
That's cool.
why how it looks better and more normal without your face in it." So that's been a fun little thing. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's so cool.
it was really good.
So, out of
Yeah.
yeah, question. Out of all of them that you did, out of the 90 something, which one is your favorite? Because we're gonna have to show that on screen, of course.
That's good.
Spellbound Creepers is my favorite card,
That
and
was a good one.
I was really waiting for so the weird thing that was like an unforeseen challenge with this, because like coming from Magic,
Mhm.
you can find the Magic Gathering, you can find the art of cards so
Oh yeah.
easily everywhere. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Flesh and Blood, you gotta dig. You gotta
Hard.
like
Art House
You actually
Syndicate
do.
digging
Yeah.
into
I like
Instagrams.
yeah, you were going to Instagrams, you're going to art stations, you're going to Facebook pages, you're like really just stalking people trying to find this
Yeah.
this art. And I actually could never find Spellbound Creepers, so like I think it was actually Mansant who like commented on one of my posts because I kind of was vague posting about how I couldn't find some art, and they were like, you can upgrade. There's like programs online that you will like upgrade the art. And so I cropped Spellbound Creepers, and then I did the
Mhm.
upgrade, and so it was like a little bit more saturated than the actual one, but I was like, I could work with this. And so I just put my face on there a
Nice.
lot, and that was really fun. um there were some that I think were like genuinely good, and I found them too boring. So I think there were like some that were
Mm.
like actually good photoshops, but they weren't particularly interesting because they were like done
Mhm.
well. um, I think the first one of that was like Sonata Arconics, um,
Okay.
where I think I actually like did a good job with the shading and like the cropping and all of that. But then I was like, this is boring, just putting my face in the middle of it. So I had to like hide my face and my eyeballs in some of the car, like, and that was another thing is that I spent a lot of time doing little things for me. Like there was one where I just put Yu-Gi-Oh in it, Duel Master, because it was like, oh, it was Guardians of the Shadow Realm. Because I was like, ah, yeah, sending people to the Shadow Realm, and
Yeah,
it's
of
just like
course. Yeah.
I had Yu-Gi-Oh just in the corner because I was just like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
so
That's fun.
yeah, it was a really fun kind of experience to do that, and like it went pretty well. It was pretty good. And yeah, it was something that I like have kind of transitioned it into like a YouTube channel that I'm like kind of passively working on, which I'll have you guys on. Um, but
Yeah.
Hell
What's
yeah.
that channel name? So anyone listening can go follow it. We'll have the links in the description, of course. But
Yeah,
what's the name of it?
it's called Photos with Frank. And so it's literally I take interesting people and I put them into their favorite things. So usually it's been Flesh and Blood, but it's been like, I played around with Hamish, who Hamish was a really funny one. He was kind of I'd say integral to kind of it taking off a little bit better. But like there's some images where like, bearded white guy, we look the same when we make certain faces. And so like I don't think a lot of our facial structure is very similar, but like specifically when we're making certain faces, he was like, "Hey, did you Photoshop me into this art?" I'm like, "No, that's me, mate." And so so like he was the person that I interviewed first, and I put him into Runic Reclamation, and then Jackie, who's actually one of our locals from Fab Workshop, she does like tutorial videos and such. I put her into Nourishing Emptiness, and then there was Fyron, who was I mean you probably actually got this, Eric. Um, he was the Viserai at Baltimore.
Oh yeah,
He was the cosplayer, yeah. Yeah, Anthony is his name, but Fyron is what he is, like Discord and stuff. And he's lovely, but I put him into Promise of Plenty. So it's just been like playing around with it, and like it was a fun thing because like I also like time lapses. I like get down and stuck into like the YouTube rabbit holes or like Instagram or whatever, just watching time lapses. And so like it's been fun to make time lapses uh that also talk about why this is their favorite card, because like everyone's different. They all have their own stories
such
and
a cool
reasons
idea.
why they like little
I love
things.
that.
Yeah. What are your really quick? What are your guys' favorite cards? Like what are we? What am I gonna put you into?
Eric,
Oh
you can go
man.
first. You got this.
Yeah, my favorite card. I'm curious. I mean, you've gone or have came quite far with Photoshop skills because yeah, like at first I remember hearing your story. I'm like, and then I started seeing it, and I was like, yeah, okay. And then like, yeah, my friend was like, no, dude, like you gotta look at it. And then I started realizing, oh yeah, no, he's actually working here. So, my favorite card is Heart of Fiendel.
Oh boy.
So
Okay.
I don't, yeah, that might be a little
Encapsulate him in the
challenging,
gym.
but
We're gonna have a 5-minute chat, and it's just I'm just gonna put your face. It's just gonna be, and then I guess I'll just have to sneak you into a lot of things. That's fine, but it'll be a quick chat.
yeah,
Um,
okay,
because
okay,
usually, yeah. So it is like a just an interview, and I chat really with like whatever I think is interesting with the person. It's not very like planned. I just kind of ask them about their thing and like
cool,
but as I'm
yeah,
doing that, I'm like photoshopping them live, and they don't get to see it. But like it's
Oh,
usually
cool.
the interview is as long as our chat, as long as it takes me to like kind of play around with it, and
okay,
yeah, we'll just have a super quick chat. It'll be I
okay. Hey
I
man,
I
that
can
works.
probably do Heart of Fiendel. We'll have a mini episode because I can do Heart of Fiendel in like
Oh yeah,
God, 3
that
minutes.
was short.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Uh,
no, we'll figure something out. I'll get weird with it. That's the other thing is that like, you know, at the end
Yeah,
of the day,
get weird with it. I like that.
I'm doing it for myself and like what I enjoy. So if I'm not happy with the image, I don't think that it's like interesting enough, I'll just put weird shit in there. That was like with Fire and Promise of Plenty, I put him like pointing to himself or like throwing some hay and stuff in a giant version. But then I was like, I'm missing something. So we'd been talking about Dory. Oh, we'd been talking about Y Schwartz. Just because
okay.
Okay.
the one thing I know about the game is that you can have a Pixar deck. So you can have like Ratatouille and Toy Story,
Hmm.
and which is just hilarious to me. But you can have Dory from the thing. So I put a big Dory in the corner, and I'm doing it for
That's
me.
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah. Okay. What about you?
Oh, I think it'd have to be Shock Charmers. Like the art on that man's just
Oh yeah, we
unbeatable.
can do some good stuff with that one. Yeah, easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
This
one's
will be
absolutely.
fun.
sick. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm stoked. I'm so stoked.
But
yeah.
yeah,
That is such a good idea.
No, that is awesome. I love that channel. Yeah, everything will be linked down below, so you guys have to go check it out.
yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. It's I mean, I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm trying to there's a few people that I'm chatting with right now, but the next one should be Tall Timmy. which he's
Oh,
actually a
nice.
Cool.
Sydney local. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we've like played at pro quests and skirmishes and stuff because we'll travel up to Sydney, which is just 3 hours
Mhm.
away, because they get a lot more events than us. But yeah, he's a funny guy, and there's a lot of like John Warden is in Sydney, Flukenbox, and
Mhm.
then Hayden Dale from Arsenal Pass. Like, yeah, they're just people that we've played, and yeah, Hayden was really good for teaching me the like Rune Blade mirror because he just started blocking, and I
Cool.
was like, "What are you doing?" It just like changed my whole thought process because I was like, I didn't know how to play. I got unnerved because I was like, "What are you doing blocking?" I thought we were just racing. So yeah, it's a like the Australian community is really really good, and I really like the people
Yeah,
here.
that
But
sounds tight.
yeah, I'll have to. We'll figure out like an actual time zone to like base ourselves off of, and then we'll go off from there. And so it'll work out
Yeah.
best for all of us, I think. But yeah, it was just a really good opportunity to like be a part of the game's history, and like I didn't think it was gonna work, if we're being honest. I thought it was funny, but like, and I was doing it because I kept giggling as I was photoshopping.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I also wouldn't have been particularly unhappy if they had been like, no, we're
I,
not gonna do it.
I think the whole community would have rioted if you did not get a spoiler card, like you said. Like
Yeah,
everyone would
you
have
worked
flipped
for it.
their lid, bro.
It
Like that would be the downfall.
it is an interesting one because yeah, people were like, it was actually I knew that I was on the right track when I started getting haters, which is so silly to
Right.
think, but like yeah, there were just some people that like very they commented more than anyone else, just like daily, and just like with negative
Really?
comments, and I was just like, yeah, it's just it felt like more effort to like comment on each of the posts than to like report me or something. I don't know, it's just active
Right?
engagement.
I
So
mean,
it
they're
was like,
boosting
yeah,
your. Yeah, I was about
yeah,
to say they're just boosting you, bro. We take those.
yeah, I definitely took them. I just didn't understand it. Um, but yeah, I
That's
knew I was
weird.
onto something when I
That's
got
crazy.
haters, and that was like pretty fun. But uh, you got also the like banter in the comments is really fun. Like, yeah,
Oh yeah.
I love some banter. So, um, yeah, we're
Yeah.
all about that.
Oh.
The trash talk is like important to any game,
Oh
as long
god,
as
if
it's
that's
in
not the
good
truth,
fun.
I don't know what is.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, well, if one of you figure out a good Vincent deck, please, please, I'm begging
Oh
you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it won't be
Well,
me,
that goes
but
for anyone listening as well. Like,
yeah, I
Please.
mean, hey,
gee,
that's the best way to crowdsource.
Hi, this is
yeah,
Frank from Photos to Frank, and this is a personal request to you. Please build a good Vincent deck. Like I just
yeah, yeah.
I can't build. I don't know what I'm doing, mate. Just help us out. I believe in you, America.
There you go. Yeah. No, let me tell you, Americans are the best at net decking. So we really believe
Oh
in the
god.
Europeans or the Australians
Oh
or
my
New
god. Hey,
Zealanders.
the Polish. This one goes out to you. You got this, guys.
Team.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's good.
they make some good decks. Yeah.
Oh man, they're so cool.
Yeah. They were like meeting and interacting with people, and like they had the tokens that are just like so
Yeah,
fun. That was
Above and beyond the call.
did you see the blood pox? The blood pox token?
yeah,
I don't know if I saw. I don't
yeah,
know if I saw that one.
That was my favorite. It
yeah.
was
They were
just like a
handing those
mass of
out.
people. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
it was yeah. They like yeah. What a fun way. That's we have a local who for Christmas, the last two Christmases, he's made his own like proxy one. So like for the frostbite token, which I've lost it. For the frostbite token is like Jack from The Shining in like his Santa
Okay.
hat being cold, and that's been really
Yeah,
fun. I've like and then he had a gold token which was like Goldfinger, and that's I mean that's the thing is that the community is so invested in like they just want to have fun and do these interesting
Hmm.
things, and like that's what I like about this game is that
okay.
everyone's so cool. Also,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
Well,
Good community. Good
I
community.
oh, very good, very good.
it's the first altered chain.
That's awesome.
Poor
That's awesome.
poor Federico. Yeah, I keep seeing Federico and like coming up to him, be like kind of giggling because I've got these dumb ideas for how to he like draws on it, and he's super lovely, but I think he's like never really dealt with card players before, in the sense that like I asked him to like draw a cowboy hat on Chain, and then like with Young Chain I asked him to draw shopping bags because it looks like he's like doing one super big trip, and he just like didn't know how to interact with that. And he did
Do you
it.
have that on you?
Oh yeah,
I got to see
I'm
that. Holy God.
literally reaching for it.
That's good.
And then I got the last one is I have an Urser that's like dunking. He's got a basketball and a thing because he looks like he's dunking, and like
Yeah.
So now Federico, anytime like I appear, he just starts giggling a little bit because he just knows that if I'm
What's about to go
interacting,
down.
yeah. So Vincent's gonna be a whole thing. I need to get the
Alright.
cold foil one. They haven't announced how you get it yet, but I got the pre-release one, so
Okay.
it's
Nice.
happening. Federico, I'm coming for you.
You better post that everywhere. I want to see that when that happens. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I've
yeah.
come onto your
No, that's good.
podcast and called out like 5 different groups of people.
Hey, nothing wrong
That's
with
okay.
that. We're here to share ideas and share thoughts, baby.
Yeah.
Any platform I can.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Well, I think that about wraps it up. I think we covered quite a bit. Is there anything else we want to talk about before I end this episode?
I feel good. How do you feel, Frank?
I had a
Any
great
thoughts?
time.
Sweet.
Eat your
right.
vegetables.
Yeah.
What's a hard one? I like cookies, man.
But you can do both, and that's important for a regular balanced meal.
Yeah, if I don't want to die, probably.
Yeah. As an
Oh.
adult,
Well,
sorry, I'll let you.
you go.
I was gonna go on a
Welcome back.
vegetable rant. It's not relevant.
I love you,
Okay,
man. This is too
well.
good. This is too good.
Yeah,
This is
let's go
fun.
ahead and get this closed out here. I appreciate you, Frank, being on. Thank you so much. Gabe, obviously, thank you for helping me out here. And then thank you to all the viewers out there. Next week we will have Max Ferocity on, the Dash cosplayer. So stay tuned for that. But until then, keep on fabbing.